Another whistleblower tied to Boeing just turned up dead. That is not a plot twist from a courtroom drama. That is real life. And now the Senate is reopening hearings. Investigators are circling, and Boeing is caught between a tailspin of safety failures and a mountain of damning testimony. This isn't just about planes falling from the sky. This is about criminal negligence, cover-ups, corporate immunity, and a trillion-dollar company that turned cost-cutting into a public hazard. Buckle up. Boeing's trial isn't just back. It's flying straight into a legal storm. Once upon a time, Boeing meant quality, American pride, jets that define generations. Now, it's a horror story in the skies, starring engineers, dead whistleblowers, and a company that keeps gambling with lives. Let's go back. Lion Air 610 and Ethiopian Airlines 302, 2 flights, 2 crashes, 346 lives lost. The cause? A software patch called MCAS, created to fix a flawed design in the 737 MAX. Instead of re-engineering the plane properly, Boeing built a workaround, and then they hid it from pilots. That's right. They didn't update the training, didn't mention MCAS in the manuals, because retraining pilots would delay delivery and cost them money. And if there's one thing Boeing hates more than a delayed launch, it's missing a stock target. The fallout was global. Entire fleets grounded, families grieving, the world furious. Boeing promised reform. They promised accountability. But here's what they delivered instead. Dead whistleblowers. John Barnett, quality manager, blew the whistle on faulty oxygen systems and cut corners. He testified. Then he turned up dead in a parking lot, gunshot wound, ruled a suicide. But this isn't the first time. Another whistleblower, Joshua Dean, also died shortly after speaking out. Different case, same pattern. People brave enough to talk keep ending up silenced. Permanently. That's not just tragic, that's terrifying. Now the Senate is back. Hearings reopened. Lawmakers are demanding answers. The DOJ is watching. The FAA is sweating, because none of this was supposed to happen again. Boeing employees have testified to assembly lines moving too fast, inspections skipped, parts forced to fit, mechanics told to shut up and push the jet out the door. That's not manufacturing. That's roulette with wings. And don't think Boeing was doing this in the shadows. The FAA was right there, regulatory capture at its finest, employees hopping back and forth between Boeing and the government. The watchdog was on the payroll. Oversight became oversight in name only. When the first investigation ended in 2021, Boeing signed a deferred prosecution agreement. They promised good behavior. That meant no more lying, no more fraud, and no more shortcuts. They broke every part of that deal. Now prosecutors are looking again. The DOJ is reportedly preparing to file new criminal charges. Civil lawsuits are stacking up. And whistleblower protections? Paper thin when your company has deeper pockets than your government. Boeing's defense? They keep trotting out the same old lines. We are improving. Safety is our top priority. This is a learning process. Please. Learning processes don't involve covering up known problems and punishing the people trying to fix them. And while the legal teams play chess, the victims get ignored. Families of crash victims are still fighting for justice. They were promised accountability. What they got was a corporate press release and a handshake deal behind closed doors. This isn't just a business scandal. It's a moral crisis. Because when your job is to keep people in the air safe, and you choose cost savings over safety, you don't just risk lawsuits. You risk lives. Now let's talk consequences. If the courts finally bring the hammer down, Boeing could face massive fines. Executives could face charges. The deferred prosecution deal could be voided. There are whispers about breaking the company into separate divisions: commercial, defense, and space. But if Boeing skates again, if the hearings end in more finger-pointing and less justice, then what message does that send? That billion-dollar corporations can bury evidence, bury responsibility, and bury the people who speak up? Let me make it plain. This case is about power, about who gets protected, about whether truth can still break through the noise of corporate influence. Right now, Boeing is not just being judged on past crashes. They're being judged on every single flight they push out moving forward. And every time they retaliate against a whistleblower, they prove the critics right. So here's the final thought. This is not just about Boeing, it's about what happens when profit gets prioritized over people, when companies become too powerful to punish, when silence becomes a death sentence. If there is any justice left in the air, this trial needs to be the storm that grounds Boeing's arrogance once and for all. Better call Saul.